Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, so people obviously have noticed I've taken a little break from YouTube. There's a lot of things going on in my life. To be quite honest with you, recently I have been spending a lot of time refocusing spiritually, and that is taking a large amount of time, which I don't mind at all. There's a lot of things going on spiritually, so I just been trying to tune in, spend time meditating, and getting my head right about things I believe that are coming up. With all the things going on spiritually, it makes it really hard to focus on other matters. They don't quite seem as important, but with so much happening so quick in this world, kind of hard not to look at a lot of things as not very important compared to your spirituality. Anyways, not to get all preachy and everything, let's get back to Iraq, because there are some things that are not being talked about that's happening over Syria. This is big. This is major. So let's go ahead and move forward and let's talk about these things. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold, silver, or any other precious metals, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description, or just type in www.moneymetals.com/Pimpy. If you make a purchase when you follow that link, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win 10 free silver ounces. So get started today, and hopefully your stack will start to look like this real soon. So head on over, tell them Pimpy sent you. You can follow me over on other platforms. I do have my own group over on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. So head on over here and join us. It's free to do so. In here I do post updates if I should get on suspension from YouTube or get removed from YouTube, and you want to know what happened to me, I'll let you know right here in this group. I can be found on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and the cool thing about YouTube, if you come over here and you join and you find my channel, I got videos going back, I believe, a couple years. So if you want to see some older videos that I have on Nasera, Jacera, gold, silver, cryptos, come on over here and join. Look me up and check out my videos. You can also find me on Odyssey. Catch me on Rumble. When I say that the links for all these are down below in the description, some of you don't know what I'm talking about. It's real simple. Just go down to the bottom right here of any of my videos. See this? This is the description. Hit show more. And there are all the links to all the platforms I just spoke about. So if you do want to head on over to Money Metals, just click it. And there you are. So come on over. Join us. I look forward to having you. Okay, one of the things that's going to be talked about in Iraq is the water files. Remember I told you, you have Turkey and Syria, I believe, that's right above Iraq, and they have been building these huge dams. There was a water agreement with Turkey that they would agree to allow X amount of gallons of water to be let out every month. And so far, all they have let out is less than half of what they promised. And it's causing havoc on Iraq, who depends on agriculture as one of their exports. But I was talking to my friend who's doing some work up in Alaska. He was asking me what the weather's like here in California. I said, dude, it's so hot. I am drinking so much tea and so much water. It's not even funny. I go, the water, I like it nice and cold, icy. When you drink it, it feels really good. He said, hey, I'm going to send you a video. Now, I didn't know if it was his video or if it came from somewhere else. He goes, you want to talk about good drink of water? But I thought I would share with you guys. You want to see something that looks very yummy? Look at this. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that just look good enough to drink? Look how clear that is. Yikes. Oh, man. That looks so good. Cool and refreshing. Now, I don't know if he took that video or who took that video, but where he's at, that's what the water's like. So pure, so clear. Anyways, every time I see that video, it makes me want to jump up and get water. Okay, so let's go through a couple of things kind of quick and then get to the good stuff. Parliamentary orientation to legislate the oil and gas laws. Same thing as always. They're just trying to iron out an agreement with Kurdistan. And the holdup is now between compensation for the oil that were discovered after the Constitution was put together. if you're not sure what's going on with the whole gas and oil law, there was agreement between Kurdistan and Iraq that together they would generate revenues off the existing oil fields that are out there. And if you read the wording on the Constitution, it does say that this agreement is for all existing oil fields. Well, over the last few years, we know that Kurdistan has discovered more oil fields and has been taking the oil out of those reserves and selling them independently, which pisses off Iraq, who says you're violating the constitutional law, and Kurdistan saying no. The wording on the Constitution says all existing oil fields, which actually makes a point. So Iraq's having a big fit about it. They went to court. The Supreme Court told them this law is unconstitutional and ended it, basically taking the oil rights away from Kurdistan, who so far has refused to give it up. So the last bit of the agreement is what to do about the newly discovered oil fields and what to do with new ones that are discovered in the future. So either they can compensate Kurdistan more money, a percentage of the money will go to Kurdistan. Whatever they need to do, this need to get them handled, because this is a major tension between Kurdistan and Baghdad. You're going to start to see a lot of troops moving into Iraq. And a lot of people are wondering if it's for Iraq. It's kind of half and half. They want to make sure that Iraq does not end up with the BRIC nations. I kind of think that's inevitable. But more importantly, we have issues in Syria that's not really being spoken about. There's reason to believe that they are very close to nuclear capability, and that these missile sites, unbeknownst to the world, were being built underground out of the eyes of a lot of people. You can only imagine what happens if Syria all of a sudden magically has nuclear capability. This would be terrible for people over in the Middle East. While at the same time, Russia is giving North Korea nuclear capability. So that's why we are heading over to Syria. We had been secretly stealing their oil and was wondering why they were so quiet about it. And now we think we know why. They were busy working on something more important to them, which was nuclear facilities. You can see right here, it says NATO announced on Friday that it will take on additional missions in Iraq, including advisory and capacity building roles in support of the forces in Iraq's Interior Minister and the Federal Police Command. This comes amid ambiguous surroundings, the reasons why the United States of America has strengthened its military forces on the Iraqi-Syrian border, amid information indicating the possible battles in the region. Yeah, see, I've been hearing about this for a long time, and the media really isn't talking very much about it. What's going on over in Syria is way, way more serious than people know, and they should be aware about it. So during the past days, U.S. forces have brought military reinforcements, including vehicles and soldiers on the Syrian border, coming from the Iraqi side towards the city of Al-Qam, near the border city of whatever that is, along the Euphrates River. So we are using Iraq once again as a launching board, which is not going over very smoothly with Iraq, who just wants to move along and put everything behind them. But the United States is not allowing them to do that. They keep forcing them into situations they don't want to be in. That's a big part of the talk about what's happening with the U.S. dollar and them restricting dollars to Iraq. So there's a lot of jockeying going on over there. Iraq is not cooperating very much with the United States, but the United States is doing everything it can to force Iraq to cooperate. Or all of a sudden you might magically hear that the new government is tyrannical and they're killing their own people and we must go in there and liberate them. One of those kind of stories. But more importantly, what's going on in Syria, this is big. Al-Sadini and Mandelawi agreed to accelerate the implementation of the budget items. I spoke about this several times when all these people are talking about, yeah, man, in the budget, there's going to be a new exchange rate. They can't do it without this new exchange rate. Yeah, man, it's Christmas time. They're going to do the exchange rate. Yeah, man, it's March. That's the new fiscal year. They're going to go ahead and change the exchange rate. You guys got to understand, not that I'm being a negative Nelly. It's just that I've been hearing those guys talk about that same BS now for years. And sure, it makes people feel good at the moment. But have they ever been right about anything? No. That's why we don't make predictions like that. That's why I don't mislead people on my videos. Just stay grounded. There's a lot more things that go into consideration when thinking about changing an exchange rate. And it's unfortunate that Iraq is under the thumb of the United States, who's using this as a weapon to keep Iraq under their control. So when people keep asking me, what do you think, Pimpy? When do you think it's going to happen? Years from now? I said it can happen tomorrow. We don't know all the ins and outs. But I'm just using common sense and telling you that these people out there promising you that the exchange rate's going to change because the new budget is here. No, it's not. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'll come back on and say, hey, I was wrong. But no, it'll go up in increments just like I've been saying. So now you got Al-Sudini and Mandelawi. Both have stressed the importance of continuing effective coordination between the legislative and executive authority in order to speed up the legislation of solid laws that concern the citizens and meet all his requirements, and focus on laws that encourage economic and investment development, as well as activating industry and creating suitable job opportunities for young people. Yeah, another thing that I heard is they're trying to force everybody into the central bank digital currency, and now all of a sudden countries are starting to think twice about giving the United States that much control. CBDCs are programmable. They will put time limits on the money, which means you have to spend your money or it expires. And if they could do this kind of thing under the SWIFT system and restrict people and put them under sanctions, what makes you think they're not going to continue to do the same thing under the central bank digital currency? We're seeing a lot of countries starting to rebel against the CBDC. Hopefully they are successful, but that is another major hang-up with Iraq. I'd put out in the video, I had a feeling that the budget would not be implemented until they had agreed to or had converted over to the central bank digital currency. But then all of a sudden they voted on the budget, and then we heard that it passed, and I thought, well, maybe they will go ahead and pass the budget without implementing the central bank digital currency. But as you can see, they still have not started dispersing the budget out like it should be. And it takes me back to what I said earlier. Is this because they want Iraq to be under the central bank digital currency? I know the news tells us all kinds of other reasons. They already passed the budget, but they've obviously not dispersed out the funds necessary for job growth. And that's what a lot of us are waiting for. That plus I know a lot of you are eagerly waiting for the announcement that the exchange rate is massively jumped up to this large number because they told you that this budget can't function without a large exchange rate. I'm saying that's a BS. Another reason why I feel like the United States is bullying Iraq is because of this lady's activities. Politicians had already been complaining that the things she's doing are very backhanded and very sneaky over there in Iraq. And that's with companies that are there, as well as other political leaders that are not currently in government. So she's being really sneaky over there, and it's grabbing people's attention. But if you notice in this particular article, she speaks about a couple of things I just mentioned. Then she came here for a meeting of the ministries of defense between the two countries, and the meeting ended. And I returned to Baghdad and thought that I had to meet with Iraq political leaders and follow with the matter with the prime minister and understand that what's been going on over the past 5 weeks. So first she talks about the elections that are coming up, and then she said there are several reasons that cause the dollar to fluctuate against the dinar, including the existence of a parallel financial market that they helped create, and the presence of smugglers and money launderers, which leads to an increase in the price of the dollar. Returning to a legitimate banking system can create exchange rate stability. Let me reword that for you. Doing like we tell them to do and use the central bank digital currency can create exchange rate stability. That's really what she's saying. I think there's a misunderstanding about the 14 banks, as no sanctions were imposed on them. That's a lie. That is a lie. But these banks are not allowed at the present time to deal in dollars. Here she talks about the military building up over there near the Syria border. And then you come here and it says U.S. sanctions on Iran and their impact on Iraq. So when I said that Iraq and Iran making that deal against the wishes of the United States, it would be a real issue for Iraq because the United States doesn't play those games, and they would screw with Iraq one way or another. And sure enough, lo and behold. So we'll continue to keep an eye on Iraq, but more importantly, I think people really need to pay attention to what's going on over in Syria. I think that situation is way worse than people are telling us, and that could really, really affect what's going on in Iraq. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.